Hey everybody, it's Mr. Harmon here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for April 13th, 2020. We are still in this COVID-19 distance e-learning, whatever you want to call it, and this is my update for the week. I'm going to give you guys some things to talk about or think about in regards to technology, metalworking, and basically things to keep you busy that are outside of your academic areas over the next little while. And a few things that I want to talk about today are the ability for your skill set to adapt to a new situation and talking about lifelong transferable skills. So, speaking of transferable skills, knowing to use a computer in this odd time of distance e-learning is pretty handy, even though as a metalwork teacher, I don't do a lot of computer stuff, but in my garage at home, it's kind of important to be able to know how to use this type of technology. Otherwise, somehow we wouldn't be having the same interaction right now. So, careers and jobs change over time. And I can kind of share a little bit about my life, and hopefully you can glean something from that. But there's some studies that have shown that people will have 14 to 16 different jobs by the time they're 30. Let alone by the time you retire, you might have a job up till 40 or 50 different roles or different careers, which is pretty wild. I mean, I look back at my first job, I was a newspaper carrier. It was terrible because I lived on a hill like this, and I wasn't really that great at it. I was slow, I was weak, and those papers were heavy, and I didn't like working in the rain. But it taught me a lot about myself. So when I was a little bit older and I was able to, start spreading my resume around, I thought, you know what, I'm going to see if I'm going to get another job. And my kind of second job, I think I was like 13 or 14, I was a little league umpire. It was the worst job I ever had. I was thinking like, hey, you know what, couple hours of watching a baseball game, calling a couple strikes, no big deal. No, it was a terrible job. I had so many people yelling at me that like, no, he's out, or it's a strike, or it's a ball. No. Dealing with angry parents of Little League children was the worst. So if you're thinking about becoming an umpire, don't do it. But again, I learned from that situation. So if we're talking about jobs and, hey, Mr. Harmon, what should I be when I grow up? I had a great conversation with a student right before spring break, before this whole lockdown distance learning stuff was going on, about, hey, Mr. Harmon, what kind of job should I have after I retire? And my students will know that I became a metalwork teacher because of a conversation I had with my high school shop teacher. And he told me something that stuck with me for the rest of my life. And it was someone that is truly happy with their job never works a day in their life. And I kind of thought, being a metalwork teacher, is that something that sounds fun? And after talking to my metalwork teacher, it was like the best decision I've ever made. I do love what I do, and I hope that whatever you want to do growing up, you find what that is. Those transferable skills that I gained of, working as a paper boy, working as an umpire, working at Dairy Queen. I worked at a movie theater. Then I liked mountain biking and snowboarding, and I worked as a ski bike tech. Like, all of those skills that I gained working helped me down the road later in life of learning to interact with people, scheduling, working with my hands. And I kind of welcome you guys to try to find what is that thing for you, that anything that you're doing in the short term will help you in the long term. So if you're thinking about what jobs are out there, what careers are out there, what do I want to do with my life? Think about this new reality of the coronavirus and COVID-19. And there are a lot of people hurting right now. There are a lot of very educated, very well-off people that can't work right now. Restaurant owners that used to be incredibly successful have seen their businesses collapse. Dentists that are used to making tons of money, that went to school, that are doctors, that now don't have a steady stream of income coming in, yet a cashier at Walmart has a full-time job and is able to ride the storm out. So I want my students to kind of think about, okay, what job do I want that is going to be fairly impervious to a pandemic or a downturn in the economy? And if you can do something in the short term, gain some skills from whatever that is. Another aspect of this that through my experience going through and having all these different jobs before I became a shop teacher was that I feel that learning is a lifelong process. And I feel that the skills and the strategies that I've developed on working with people, working with my hands, and all those other jobs have helped me get to where I am today. So I want people to start looking at their everyday lives. What can you learn from yourself? And be honest with yourself. There are some things that personally I'm not very good at. You know, you don't have to hurt my feelings. I know what they are. I've struggled with being organized my entire life. I've struggled with being focused my entire life, but I recognize that. And if you recognize, your areas for improvement or your weaknesses, and you can understand that how you use them, that can help you to understand who you are as a person and focus on those, focus on the things that you need help with, make lists. Focus by trying to get the job done in a decent amount of time so you don't forget like me. Whatever strategies you're coming up with, that's kind of what you can learn from a situation like this e-learning thing. Everybody learns a little differently, and the strategies that I use are not going to be the same strategies that you're going to use. Learning is a process, and it's going to be a different process for everybody depending on what your skill set is. Some people really like reading and writing. I'm not that person. Some people like math and they like sequential. No, I'm not that person. I like to, obviously talk with my hands, but I like to explore by conversation. I'm a people person. I'm an extrovert. Other people like to shut in and kind of take it all in. Whatever strategies work for you. And I'm kind of hoping to inspire you to understand that how you learn will dictate what you do with the rest of your life. And the skill set that you have and the strategies that you use will either help you be successful and ultimately help you be happy. Being able to teach yourself is one of the best skills you'll ever learn. So I can't make you watch this video. I can't make you look at some of the themes or ideas that I'm going to present to you, but I want you to. So over the next couple weeks, as we're doing this distance e-learning thing, I'm going to be posting a couple YouTube videos below this video on my blog. I want you to, number one, watch the videos, but think about what themes or what do I want you to explore that will help you answer some questions about your own educational experience and maybe inspire you to kind of go, I didn't think about that. I didn't know that. Or that's interesting, or that's exciting. So the theme this week is transferable skills, learning about yourself, learning how you learn, and learning to adapt those skills to a new situation. I'm going to post a couple videos. I hope you enjoy them. And if I don't talk to you before next Monday, have a good week. See you later.